The decision for war. When news of the Marathon defeat reached King Darius of Persia, his rage against Athens intensified. He immediately ordered massive preparations, demanding far more ships, cavalry, provisions, and transport vessels than ever before. For 3 years, all Asia mobilized as the finest warriors enlisted for the Greek expedition. In the 4th year, Egypt revolted. Darius grew even more determined to crush both Egypt and Athens. But a succession crisis emerged. His sons disputed the throne. Artabazanes claimed it as eldest son, while Xerxes argued he was born after Darius became king and son of Cyrus's daughter Atassa. The exiled Spartan king Demaratus advised Xerxes to emphasize being born in the purple, a principle even Sparta recognized. Darius accepted this reasoning and named Xerxes his heir. The following year, Darius died after ruling 36 years, never having avenged Marathon.
Xerxes and the Prophetic Dreams. Xerxes inherited the throne, but initially focused on Egypt, not Greece. However, his cousin Mardonius persistently urged him to punish Athens, describing Europe as a beautiful land only the great king deserved. The Thessalian Aleuades sent invitations to invade, and Athens' exiled Pisistratids arrived, with the oracle-monger Onomacritus, who recited prophecies predicting Persian victory. After being persuaded, Xerxes assembled Persian nobles and announced he would conquer all Europe, extending Persian territory to the limits of heaven itself. But Artabanus, his uncle, urged caution. He reminded Xerxes of Darius's failed Scythian campaign and warned of Greek military prowess, supply line dangers, and catastrophe if their fleet was defeated. Xerxes angrily dismissed him as a coward. Yet that night, doubt crept in. A vision appeared, a tall, handsome man who rebuked him. "Are you changing your mind, Persian? This is not well." The next day, Xerxes announced he had reconsidered. They would not march. But the dream returned that night, threatening, "If you do not march immediately, you shall be brought low as swiftly as you became great." Terrified, Xerxes asked Artabanus to wear the royal robes, sit on the throne, and sleep in the king's bed to test if the dream would appear to him too. Reluctantly, Artabanus agreed. The dream came to him as well, threatening to burn out his eyes with hot irons if he continued opposing the invasion. Both men now believed the expedition was divinely ordained. A third dream showed Xerxes crowned with an olive wreath whose branches covered the entire earth. The Magian priests declared all men would become his subjects. The massive mobilization. After conquering Egypt and installing his brother as governor, Xerxes summoned his council. He declared he would bridge the Hellespont, march through Europe, and punish Athens. More than vengeance, he promised Persian territory would reach Earth's limits, with the sun looking down on no land beyond their borders. The preparations were extraordinary. 3 years earlier, work had begun on a canal through Mount Athos. The Phoenicians showed superior engineering, while others dug straight down and struggled with collapsing walls. They made the top twice as wide, tapering to the bottom for perfect stability. The canal was wide enough for 2 triremes to row through side by side. Meanwhile, vast provision depots were established across the route. Engineers prepared bridges from papyrus and flax ropes.
The Hellespont bridges and royal fury. At Selene, the Lydian Pythias, reputedly the richest man after the king, offered to finance the entire expedition, declaring he possessed 2,000 talents of silver and nearly 4 million gold darics. Xerxes, delighted, refused the money, and instead gave Pythias the 7,000 darics he lacked to reach exactly 4 million, declaring him a royal guest friend. Engineers built 2 bridges across the Hellespont, one of 360 ships, another of 314. But a violent storm destroyed both. Xerxes, enraged, ordered the Hellespont receive 300 lashes and that fetters be thrown into the sea. Some say he sent branders to brand the water. The executioners were ordered to say, "Bitter water, your master punishes you for wronging him. Xerxes will cross you whether you wish it or not." He then beheaded the engineers and appointed new ones. The new bridges were stronger. They placed ships in rows with huge anchors, stretched cables across them, laid planks, then brushwood, then earth, with barriers so horses wouldn't see the water. The omen and the sacrifice. As the army prepared to march, the sun vanished despite clear skies, a total eclipse. The Magian priests said it foretold the Greeks abandoning their cities. Xerxes, pleased, continued. Then Pythias, emboldened by their guest friendship and frightened by the eclipse, made a request. "Master, I have 5 sons marching with you. I am old. Please release my eldest to care for me. Take the other 4. Xerxes exploded in fury. "Wretched man, you dare mention your son when I march with my sons, brothers, and friends? Your hospitality will save you and 4 sons, but you shall pay with the one you cling to most." He ordered guards to find Pythias's eldest son, cut him in half, and place the halves on either side of the road. The entire army marched between them. The army assembles. At Doriskos, Xerxes reviewed his forces. To count them, they packed 10,000 men tightly together, drew a circle, built a stone wall to that circumference, then marched the entire army through repeatedly. Herodotus calculated 1,700,000 infantry and over 500,000 in the fleet's crews. Adding cavalry, support troops, and European contingents, over 2,600,000 fighting men. He marveled, streams and rivers failed under the army's thirst. Of all these myriads, not one was more worthy in beauty and stature than Xerxes himself to possess this power. The crossing. When the bridges were ready, Persians covered them with myrtle branches and burned incense. At sunrise, Xerxes poured libations into the sea from a golden cup, praying that no misfortune would stop him before conquering Europe. He threw the cup, a golden bowl, and a Persian sword into the Hellespont. The crossing took 7 days and nights of continuous marching. First went 10,000 elite Persians wearing wreaths, then the mixed multitude, then sacred horses and Zeus's chariot, with no driver, for no mortal to ride it, then Xerxes, then the immortals with golden pomegranates on their spears, then cavalry, then the rest. A local Greek supposedly exclaimed, "Why, O Zeus, do you take a Persian form? You could destroy Greece without all these nations." Despite ominous portents, a mare giving birth to a hare, suggesting magnificent departure but flight on return, and a hermaphrodite mule, Xerxes pressed on. The Greek response. The terrified Athenians sent envoys to Delphi. The Pythia gave a horrifying oracle. "Flee to the uttermost limits. Neither head nor body remains safe. All are destroyed by fire and the war god. Even temples stand sweating with terror, dripping dark blood. Leave and steep your soul in sorrow." Devastated, they returned with olive branches as suppliants, pleading for a better oracle. Pallas cannot appease Zeus, but when all else is taken, Zeus grants the Trito-born goddess a wooden wall alone to remain unwasted. Do not await the horsemen. Retreat, turn your back, yet you shall face them again.
Salamis, thou divine, thou shalt cause sons of women to perish, whether grain is scattered or gathered. Greeks debated intensely. Some elders thought the wooden wall meant the Acropolis's ancient thorn fence. Others argued for ships, but the final lines troubled them. Salamis shall cause sons of women to perish seemed to predict defeat. Then Themistocles offered different interpretation. If it meant us, it would say, Salamis, thou merciless, not divine. Those verses refer to our enemies. The wooden wall is our fleet, that is our salvation. The Athenians accepted Themistocles' interpretation. Fortunately, they had already built 200 warships with laurium silver, originally for war with Aegina, but now perfectly timed for Persia,
the Alliance, and Sicily. The Greeks who chose resistance formed an alliance. They sent envoys to Syracuse's tyrant Gelon, who commanded enormous forces. Gelon offered 200 triremes, 20,000 hoplites, 2,000 cavalry, 2,000 archers and slingers, plus grain for the entire Greek army, on one condition: he would command. The Spartan envoy Syagros exploded. Agamemnon would lament to hear Spartans surrendered leadership to Gelon. We will not deliver command. If you wish to help, serve under Lacedaemonian command. If you refuse, don't come at all. Gelon countered, since you claim leadership, I claim it. My army is many times larger. But I'll compromise. Command the army, and I'll command the fleet, or vice versa. The Athenian envoy responded, Greece sent us seeking an army, not a leader. We possess the largest fleet. We will not permit anyone else to command our ships. We who claim the most ancient race cannot justly be reproached for saying this. Gelon replied, You have commanders, but will have no men to command. You should leave quickly and tell Greece that the spring has been taken from their year, meaning his army was the noblest part. Gelon sent Cadmus of Kos with treasure to Delphi to await the battle's outcome. If Persia won, offer submission. If Greece won, return the treasure untouched. When Greece won, Cadmus returned every coin untouched.
The Greeks decided to defend Thermopylae, a narrow coastal pass where Persian numbers mattered less. King Leonidas led 300 Spartans, all with living sons so family lines would continue, joined by about 7,000 others, Thespians, Thebans, and various Peloponnesians. The Spartans sent only this advance force because the Carnea festival prevented full mobilization. They intended to hold with this small force, then bring full armies once festivals ended, not expecting the battle decided so quickly. When Xerxes arrived, a scout rode close and observed Spartans outside their wall. Some were exercising, others combing their long hair. He reported this bizarre behavior. Xerxes summoned Demaratus. What does this mean? Demaratus replied, These men have come to fight for the pass. This is their custom. When risking their lives, they attend to their hair. If you conquer these and the rest in Sparta, no other race will stand against you. You're about to fight the noblest kingdom in Greece and the best men. Though free, they are not free in all things. Law is their master, whom they fear far more than your people fear you. Law commands them never to flee, but stay and win or die. Xerxes laughed and dismissed him. He waited 4 days expecting them to flee. On the 5th, enraged, he sent the Medes to capture them alive. The Medes attacked and were slaughtered. The Persian immortals replaced them. They fared no better.
The Spartans fought brilliantly, using superior skill and longer spears in the narrow pass. They would pretend to flee, then suddenly wheel around and slaughter pursuing Persians. Xerxes reportedly leapt from his throne 3 times, fearing for his army. The battle raged 2 days with no Persian progress.
On the second night, a Malian Greek named Ephialtes came seeking reward. He revealed a mountain path, bringing Persians behind the Greek position. Xerxes sent the immortals by night. At dawn, the seer Megistias announced death would come with sunrise. Deserters brought word the Persians were circling behind. As dawn broke, Greek allies argued whether to stay or retreat. Leonidas dismissed most, but he and the 300 Spartans would remain. Spartan law forbade retreat. The 700 Thespians refused to leave their Spartan comrades. The 400 Thebans also remained. Leonidas ordered those departing, "Go eat breakfast elsewhere. Tonight we dine in Hades." As Persians closed from front and behind, Leonidas led his men out for their final stand. They fought with unprecedented fury. When spears broke, they fought with swords. When swords broke, with hands and teeth. Leonidas fell, and savage battle erupted over his body. The Spartans recovered it twice. When the immortals appeared behind, the Spartans withdrew to a small hill, forming a final circle. They fought until every weapon broke, then with bare hands. The Persians, unable to approach without terrible losses, finally surrounded them and shot them down with arrows. They died to the last man. When the battle ended, Xerxes ordered Leonidas's head cut off and his body crucified. Extraordinary desecration, revealing how much Leonidas had troubled him. The Greeks later inscribed at Thermopylae, "Go tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie." This delaying action, though ending in death, proved crucial. It bought time for the Greek fleet to fight at Salamis, demonstrated Persians could be beaten, and showed united resistance was possible. The sacrifice of Leonidas and his 300 would inspire Greek resistance throughout the war, ultimately leading to Persian defeat and the preservation of Greek freedom. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell so you won't miss our next historical.